I'm going to be talking about the contemporary application of the ascension of Jesus Christ. And I just want to start by saying, with these, I know my group can't see it, but with these photos, it just shows different, photos of the ascension, that man has come up with. But one thing I want to say that's really powerful about the ascension of Jesus Christ is that he stated that once he left, that you would receive power. And that power, if you go back and you look in the Bible, God said he does not give us the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. And so when you think about power, we're not talking about just physical power. We're talking about spiritual power. And I'm just going to read this. It says, some research that I did on the ascension. It says in the New Testament that the resurrected Jesus was taken up into heaven in his resurrected body in the presence of 11 of his apostles, occurring 40 days after the resurrection in the biblical narrative. An angel tells the watching disciples that Jesus' second coming will take place in the same manner as his ascension. Now, what's so important about the contemporary application of his ascension is that he's coming back. And that's the whole thing that relates to us today in the 21st century is, yes, he ascended from the Mount of Olives, but per the Bible, it says that he's going to descend back to the earth. And most scholars believe that it's going to be at the Mount of Olives. Okay? And to go on, it says, the ascension of Jesus is professed in the Nicene Creed and in the Apostles' Creed that the ascension implies Jesus' humanity being taken into heaven. The feast of the ascension, celebrated on the 40th day of Easter, always a Thursday, is one of the chief feasts of the Christian year. This feast dates back at least to the later 4th century, as it's widely attested. The ascension is one of 5 major milestones in the gospel narrative of the life of Jesus, and others being baptism, transfiguration, crucifixion, and resurrection. And so that just goes back to, as it relates to us today, that through his ascension we have power. And I'm going to give you some examples of that power. If we look in Hebrews chapter 4, verse 14, start at the 14th verse, he's saying, seeing that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heaven, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast our profession. For we have not a high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was at all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in a time of need. For every high priest taken from heaven among men is ordained for men in the things pertaining to God, that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins. And I just want to say that by Jesus' ascension to heaven, what that in fact does, it gives us a high priest that can be effective with our woes and our hurts and our needs, because and I think that's why it was so important that he ascended to heaven in a fleshly body, because now if he ascended in a spiritual body, then there would be a disconnect, because we're still down here in a fleshly body, in a fleshly body. So it would just, it would seem logical that he would ascend in a fleshly body, so he can be seated at the right hand of the Father, and he can actually intercede for us, because he's still in a human fleshly form. So how can you intercede for somebody if you're a spirit over here and you're flesh over here? And so I think that shows, that's a testament to the power of the ascension, and that just basically gives us a contemporary application of why it's so important now, because even with receiving the Holy Ghost, we wouldn't be able to receive that Holy Ghost, which will empower us to do things that we would not normally do. And give you an example, when Peter was unlearned, but he spoke the